Morning. As you heard, I'm Adrian Bush from the RAM Foundation. I get the enviable task of making you all feel a little awkward in your seats while we ask you for money for the foundation. It's a little different this year, a little more exciting. We've partnered with a new NGO, which you're going to hear about a little later. And I think it's quite an interesting initiative, and there's different ways to get involved this year. So as we all know, there's major challenges with education in South Africa, and obviously that's impacting on how South Africa is proceeding as a country. And for the last couple of years, we've been running the Net Profit Bursary Fund, where we use this platform really to raise funds for education initiatives. For the last couple of years, we've been working with UCT and working on with their bursary fund, where we basically raise money for students that are studying a tertiary degree in computer sciences. So last year we managed to raise just over 90,000 Rand, which got 3 students through their honors year at UCT. So it's been a great initiative over the years. It's really been a good success, but what we felt is that it's only impacting a few people's lives and a few students. So what we wanted to do this year is really try and sort of broaden the scope of the lives that we reach, as well as also give different options in terms of ways people can get involved. So what I'd like to do is obviously just introduce Louise Headley from an NGO called Partners for Possibility. They're running an amazing campaign where they're partnering business leaders with school principals and using that collaboration between the two to really deliver excellent results in schools. So I'd like to hand over to Louise, who's going to tell us a bit more about the program, and then I'll end just with a bit more detail as to how you can get involved.
Thanks, Adrian. So I have a 15-year-old son, and occasionally I work up the courage to open his bedroom door and to all kinds of smells and smoke and things, arms coming out of his duvet, and toasted cheese experiments and computers and all kinds of things. So today I'm here really to talk to you a little bit about how you guys out there, the techies, can come out of the cloud and make a real contribution on the ground. And my journey with Partners for Possibility started when I returned to South Africa in 2012, and I was very determined that I wanted to make a contribution to South Africa, particularly in the education space. But it was really hard to get my hands on something that seemed meaningful. So in the absence of finding something and while searching, I became very creative, and I turned myself into the Facebook police. And what this meant, I'm still of the generation where Facebook is cool, I know, so last century, but that's still me. So I would hunt down anybody who was slagging off South Africa, and I would type them essays about how they were being irresponsible, and basically it was very effective at reducing my friendship pool. So I decided I needed some other strategy. And the bottom line is I realized as well that I wasn't being any different from the dining room table assassins. And we're guilty of it, all of us, some of the time. And we sit at the dining room table, and we sit with people who are moaning about the crime. We're moaning about the rape. We're moaning about the murders. We're moaning about, I've got a Kugel friend who's moaning about the beggars. And, oh, my God, there are just so many of them, and I can't give to all of them. And that's the reality that we live in. And the truth is that Stats SA does some amazing work around poverty and education. And in 2006, 49% of South Africans lived just below the upper breadline limit. The good news is, by 2011, towards the end of 2011, that had reduced to 39% of South Africans living just below the poverty line. But that still means that there's 20 million South Africans living on 650 Rand a month or less. Now, I don't know about you, but that's what I would spend on a visit to the Spur when my kids drag me there. So the sense of there's a great need out there and the link to education. So the Stats SA research shows us unequivocally that of those 20 million people who are living below 650 Rand a month, only 1 million of those have a matric or above. So the correlation between a good education and poverty and crime, the links are irrefutable. So I wanted to find something that was about education, and I stumbled across the Partners for Possibility program. And it's all about merging the skills that are in the room, my skills as a leader, my skills in business, partnering with a school principal and trying to make a difference within under-resourced schools. And I had the question, education, there's so much to do in South Africa. How are we ever going to achieve it? It just seems like such a minefield, and how are we going to make any progress? And how can I, as an individual, make any progress? But I decided that actually I wasn't going to let all the stuff that I couldn't do get in the way of the one thing that I could do. So I partnered with a principal in a lower economic area. And the journey was absolutely remarkable at so many levels, because we know that school principals single-handedly have the greatest influence over the outcomes of education. So they influence their senior management team, they influence the school community, and therefore that influences the quality of the education and the output. So not only was the journey a great one for the school and for the benefit to the learners, but I also learned a lot. I felt more connected to being a South African, understanding that we do live in a bigger world. So I encourage you to contribute and to consider giving of yourselves more than just your money and more than just your time, but of you yourselves, and partnering with a principal to actually make that happen. And in order to demonstrate that, we've got a little case study of Irene, who's one of the co-founders of Rogues, the amazing pet products, and he partnered with a school in Dunoon. So we're just going to show you a little video about that and hope that that inspires you to see what kind of impact you can have as business leaders on education and the future of South Africa.
My name is Sabelo Makubalo. I'm the principal at Sopakama Primary School. We have got roughly 1,500 learners. The classes right now are overcrowded. I've got very big numbers. Systematic results and honor results are the results that they use to judge our schools. And our school so far has been struggling with in terms of reaching those results. But now, because we are in the partnership with ROGS and Partner for Possibility, we still have a hope that some of the things that we are faced with, the challenges that we're faced with, are the things that we can improve and work on it. We've seen some progress already.
From ROG's point of view, we've always had a desire to get involved in the community where workers live and where they come from. And obviously, getting involved in the education of the children is one of the best ways for us to participate in their futures. We decided to join Partners for Possibility, which provides a structured program instead of us reinventing the wheel.
They have helped us with the connection. Now we're able to use some computers in this office and the office next door, whereas in the past we relied on one computer. We've also got the vegetables that have been planted from the soil that we got from the Partner for Possibility. We sell them to the community, and some of it we take it to our kitchen, and then we add it up to our meal every day so that learners can have fresh vegetables from the soil. Also been fortunate to have our donation for a jungle gym for grade R. The learners are enjoying it.
Thank you.
We've also had a choir that was given melodica and the keyboard. So the choir now is busy preparing for the competition.
nalo ukholo lwami nonyuka nalo ndilubambe ngesandla ndiyongena nalo.
Ultimately, the objective is to develop the capacity from within the community to resolve the issues, and there's so much potential here that just needs to be unlocked. Our kids are here, our parents are involved here, and it just makes all the sense for us.
Because of this partnership, we're hoping that things will change and we'll be able to benefit, get some of the things together, work on it, and see what solution can we come up with.
So I have a really, one of my favorite sayings is that if you want to harvest for a year, grow grain. If you want to harvest for 10 years, grow trees. And if you want to harvest for 100 years, grow people. And I can't think of a better way in South Africa to start building the future and growing people at the very heart than to start partnering and using your skills to work within a school environment to start building the future generation. So thank you so much for listening. If you want to get any further information, then we'll be outside at the front at lunchtime next to the Melissa stand, I think it was, Adrian. So it's great. Thanks.
Great. Thanks very much, Louise. Just for your interest, obviously, the program really takes a business leader like a lot of you are in the audience and partners it with a school principal, and you go through a sort of mentorship training program together, a leadership program. So it's a journey that you take together, and there's a massive amount of opportunity both for each partner that's involved together to go through this and obviously add real value to the school at the end of the day. So there's a number of ways, obviously, for all of us to get involved. The first way is if you're interested in becoming a partner, the best bet is to go and chat to Louise's team and find out a bit more about the program. But obviously there are other ways as well. As a lot of you might know, we've got a web page which is donate.netprofit.org.za. On that page, the guys from PayFast have enabled us with a number of different methods for you guys to get involved. The first one is obviously you can donate money. You can obviously pledge money if you don't want to do that straight away. And then you can also pledge time. So a lot of these schools are lacking in very basic skills, and there's a number of different ways that you can get involved, whether you want to donate your time, if you've got accounting skills, marketing, computers, whatever it might be. There's a huge amount of value that we can offer these schools just based on the skill set that we're sitting with in this room. So it's very easy for you guys to get involved this year. We're not just asking for money. There's a real option for you guys to look at donating your time and your expertise. So I encourage everyone to go onto that webpage. The link will come up during the course of the day, and pop onto your mobile phones and just have a look and pledge that time and that money. Thanks very much.